have a lot to go over. This poor Monica has been in prison for how long? It's just,
Well, right now the latest stint is 100. It's over 180 days, and she had been in before. This latest bit, they brought her in, and we don't know why she's there. She's under New Jersey law. After 180 days, they either have to release you or charge you with an indictment. And the indictment should have been in last week. It should have been in and filed and public for everybody to see. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if it's there, but what they did was there was a clerical error with respect to the Mendham, New Jersey Police Department, and they basically gave the government, or they said that they had 2 or 3 extra days from the date of arrest to put the indictment forward. And I think that they rushed to a grand jury after the 180-day period had lapsed. So 180 days from when she was taken in, they added like 3 days on there, which is unconstitutional. It's a violation of law. And then I think that they're working on it on a grand jury indictment, or they have one, or it hasn't been released. But they found a reason just to keep her detained, and it's really a disgrace what they're doing to this poor woman. And it's all because she forgot to put a couple of quotation marks on a Facebook post.
mhm.
So she was how this really all started was she had been a litigant in family court, and she really got it given to her by the Morris County, New Jersey establishment. Her ex-husband, John Ioannis, he is a firearms instructor in Morris Plains, New Jersey. So he has a great relationship with the police and the sheriffs and the prosecutors and everyone else, the entire establishment. And if her claims against him would have been entertained in the least, he would have lost his firearms. He would have lost his ability to possess firearms, and it would have been a problem for him and for the police. And so there was a vested interest in having his side of the story being the only side of the story that was heard. And I've reached out to Ioannis and to his new wife, Melanie Hempsey, and their attorney. And their attorney, came back at me and basically attacked me. He said that my attempts to try to get the other side of the story constituted harassment. And I said, buddy, you're a lawyer. I don't know what law school you went to, but you slept through the day that they taught the First Amendment, because that's not the way it works. I'm
Mhm.
asking your people for the truth. I want their side of the story. I want to provide a balanced reporting on what's going on. And so I want to know why this woman, who's probably 110 pounds soaking wet, is in jail, not in Morris County, which is a suburban county in New Jersey, maybe 40 minutes from the George Washington Bridge, but she is in jail in neighboring Essex County, which is the seat of Newark, New Jersey. It's one of the worst and sickliest cities in the country, and one of the worst, sickliest jails population in the country with respect to the people that are in there with her. And so, what is she doing in Newark, New Jersey? Why is she in the jail? Why is she still in the jail? And if you start to connect the dots, you get into a rabbit hole of corruption in the New Jersey
Mhm.
system. And I've published on this extensively. I have several articles on this on my Substack and other outlets. But just going into the different players, the biggest one being this Judge Bogart, Peter Bogart, in Morris County, New Jersey, and he's the one that initially started the issue with the quote unquote terroristic threats. And
Mhm.
so the terroristic threat that this 110-pound mom, made in New Jersey, that they took to be that she was going to do something crazy, was her quoting back the judge's statement from the bench without using quotation marks. So the judge said to Monica, if you don't do what I say, you'll never see your children again. That's what this judge said to Monica. It's in the transcripts, on the records, everything else. And Monica says, if you don't do what I say, Judge Bogart, if you don't do what I say, you'll never see your children again. Her intent was to quote what Judge Bogart said, but she did not put the quotation marks. And so Judge Bogart took that to mean that his children, who are grown and out of the house and in their 20s, who are not being threatened by anybody, were under risk of threat. And so that was a terroristic threat. That formed the basis of the initial detention. And then thereafter, there's a whole bunch of orders and consents and all this other legal mumbo jumbo. But at bottom, she went into to jail initially for a unlawful reason, right? An unconstitutional reason, speaking First Amendment right in the public square or the digital public square today on Facebook. And then they just thrown paper upon paper upon paper on her. And this judge, I published the audio of this judge from the bench speaking in another case, calling Monica crazy. She's a crazy woman. We're gonna pick her up. I'm gonna get Adult Protective Services to come pick her up. She's crazy. She's this guy. I don't know what his deal is, but I don't think people like that have the temperament to be on the bench, especially
Exactly.
it's really a disgrace. We have a lot of and it's a shame. We see this all over the place with family court.
Mm-hmm.
You have judges you have some judges out there that are excellent judges. You do. You have some judges that are really, really, scholarly, know the law. You have other judges that are good interpersonal people that are problem solvers. There are different skill sets that different people have, and it's the same with judges. And you'll get a good family court judge every so often. The best one probably ever was Judge Judy. Judge Judy was a family court judge in New York. She was a tough cookie. And she left the family court and became Judge Judy that we know. But she was a great judge in New York. She didn't let anything go by. She was on top of people like hawks. And if we had Judge Judy's in family court, then there wouldn't be a problem. The problem is we don't have Judge Judy's. We have people that are just, kind of, it's either the people are there. It's like rookie hazing. They just got on the bench and they're in family court for a little while until they can get to the commercial division or someplace else. Or you get people that are just kind of mailing it in. They show up and this, that, and the other thing, and they just clearing dockets, and they could care less. They let the lawyers and the appointed people, the guardians ad litem, the attorneys for the children, and the court appointed psychiatrists and psychologists run the show, and they don't get in the way of the gravy train. And so that becomes a problem. It becomes a real institutional problem. This guy Bogart is one of these problems. He just seems to be a problem. It's not the only case. And I'll be publishing more. I have another case coming out where the same judge, Judge Peter Bogart, in Morris County, New Jersey, basically has an expert witness that's submitted in the case. And this expert witness is actually a very accomplished person who runs a foundation about the family courts. And the judge said, look, this woman is clearly an expert, a very good expert. She's well published, but she talks about family court corruption. Therefore, she will not be an expert in my court. And he denied that expert on that basis. He also denied a person who puts pro se papers in and said, I know that you put in papers and they're pro se papers. They don't, I'm not even going to really consider them because you wrote them in their pro se. And if you look at the legal arguments that the person made, the person is a very intelligent woman, and she actually wrote very good legal arguments. So I'm going to be publishing those legal arguments alongside Judge Bogart's comments, and I'm going to let the readership decide whether this judge did the right thing. So that's going to be coming out shortly about Judge Bogart, who is one of Monica Ciardi's judges in New Jersey. Now, Monica, I'll get back to her. She's still in jail in Newark. Now, she finally, I believe, has a tablet. She'd been in there for a long time, months and months and months, without a tablet and without ability to really contact people. Now she has a tablet, but she's not able to get all of her legal materials and everything else to her. And she's not in great health. She's a little woman. She's got pre-existing conditions going in, and jail is the worst place to be. It's basically medieval medicine at best.
Right.
So,
or you don't get it at all, which is a human
all.
rights violation.
Yeah, and so and it's Newark, so it is what it is. So the problem that she's got big problems there, and on top of that, you have allegations about a Morris County prosecutor, an assistant prosecutor, who knowingly is shepherding this violation that's allowing her to stay in jail longer. The 180 days have passed, and so if you're a prosecutor, I get that you want to go and dispense justice. You want to go hard, but you don't go foul. You don't go below the belt, and you don't try to keep people in. And the question is, if you have a prosecutor trying to keep this 110-pound mother in prison, she's probably being told to keep her in, and that's the sick part about it. that, I can understand if you had somebody in there that, you suspect them of a couple of murders or her of a couple of murders, or really a bad dude. I can't understand what she's going to do other than speak and expose
Mhm.
corruption. So then it goes back to what's the real threat here? Her threat is her speech. Her threat is her, ex, exposition of what has been done to her and what's been done to so many others. And we have a little inconvenient fact for the corrupt, and that's called the First Amendment. And the
Mhm.
First Amendment allows for people like me and the press and you to talk about these issues. It allows all of us, the free speech clause allows all of us to talk about this in the public square and raise these issues and shine a light on the corruption. And the Monica case is very interesting because it's so multifaceted. And I'm just topically talking about it today. But if you really want to dig deep into it, the judge who was presiding in the divorce in the family court is no longer a judge. He's actually the county prosecutor in the neighboring county in Somerset. And the proceedings were almost put into Somerset, but they couldn't go there because of the conflict there. But you have a judge in Morris and the Morris County establishment in family court. You have the county prosecutor in Somerset. You have some very powerful people aligned against this woman, and Monica's actually suing the Somerset County prosecutor right now. So there's a pending case that she has that he's a defendant in, and that several others she's suing. So there's a lot of conflicts here. There's a lot of smoke, right? And where there's,
Mhm.
there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a lot of fire here because we've seen violations already. So it's a disgusting case. I'd love to see her get out. I'd love to see her get out of the jail, and I'd love to see her be in a position where she can start fighting this from the outside, which is
Mhm.
I think is her only chance. And she's got two beautiful children, and
Mhm.
she has a situation where the husband and the new wife were engaged in activity allegedly that is it crosses the line. They were engaged in their own surveillance. They were engaged in their own setups, that type of thing, and they keep the children away from their mother. That's what they're doing.
Mhm.
It's just an egregious situation all around. And so